And welcome! Today I'm going to do a review on Gedonia, an in-depth review. I'm going to tell you everything I know about this game and all its different aspects and stuff like that. So let's get started. This is an open world RPG, and overall I'm going to give this a 7 out of 10 right off the bat, because it has a whole bunch of different functions in here and it is pretty playable. So as you can see right here, you got a dragon mount and you got my character. So yeah, your title screen reflects on what your last save game has. So yeah, I got a dragon and I look like a wizard. So let's go into the bonus features right now, because that's kind of important to notice. You get a bonus feature of the testing arena. So you can go up there and you'll be max level with all the different skills you can have, and you can basically get all the free loot of the best set items in the game, and you can test out your different character builds and see how they work, and then pick and choose what you like to actually play the game on. And then there is also, of course, the dungeons mode. Now this dungeons mode is just randomly dungeons, and it goes on endlessly, and you can level up to level 120 on that mode right there. So let's load it up and take a look at that real quick. Right there, because yeah, these levels is kind of weird how they do it. You have your own starting base. We'll see right here. There you go. Load up. This is your starting base right here. You do have a little bit outside there, and you got some followers. If you're gonna do a follower build, you can hire, and you can build your house right here, and you can have some benches on there. You just can't do anything else besides, you know, storage and crafting stuff for later on. But yeah, this is basically your go-to area before you start your dungeons. So when you go in here, it's going to be like an endless dungeon rewards, and if you save your game and you load your game, you are done the dungeon. They'll kick you back out to the starting area. So this is, you know, your continuously dungeon mode. You can add the difficulty by spending money, and makes the bosses and enemies harder. You can get better loot and go through here like this. And then each of these zones right here, you got to play one of these zones to unlock the next two, and then that unlocks one of those ones over there, and then you go to the boss fight. And you can keep repeating this process. You get trophies you can add in here to make the more bosses more difficult. I got some trophies here, yeah. So for an example, you get ×3 loot quality, and the bosses, all the enemies do like 3 times more damage. So it's a positive and a negative effect on that kind of stuff. And yeah, you're not limited. You have 4 different areas. You got the dungeon and the outside zone, and a dungeon and an outside zone. You can do either one of them, and just one of them out of these 4 places will open up the next 2 areas. But you can go back and do all 4 of them if you wanted to, if you really wanted to go there and get loot and get all your buffs and stuff like that. Because yes, there are shrines in here that give you buffs that will last the whole dungeon run. So each run consists until you actually quit playing and then kill the boss and say, okay, I'm done, or you can continue and do the whole process over again, and the bosses will be harder the next time around, and all the guys will be harder level. And this is all level based, by the way, so whatever your level is, the enemies are going to be that level. So they're always scaling with you, and then it's just making it harder and harder, and then you can see how far you can go and how much times you can get down there. So you can add all this stuff there, increase your difficulty till you're only getting epic loot or whatever you want, and then just keep playing your character and seeing what you can do. Now these buffs, let's get into that, because that is a different kind of system. Well, right here is the system for leveling up your gear. It is limited. You can upgrade your gear from, like, you know, rare to epic, and that's it. And then you can only do it once, and then your gear can be leveled up in level, and you can only do that once too. It's limiting and kind of weird, but yeah, that's how it works. If you want to actually upgrade some of your gear to 5+5 levels, that's how you do it. But right here is the system. This is what the shrines look like right here to bless your gear, and we can go in here, and I'll just quickly take a look here. I'll just grab a dagger and I'll stick that in the chest. Okay, and then you can go over here and say bless my item, and this is what you find. You find a whole bunch of these things. There's scrolls that will do this effect too, and you get these stats for the whole dungeon experience, and they add on permanently for that experience, and they keep stacking. So if I got 15% health, I can stack this up 10 times if I wanted to, if I found 10 of these things. These things are all over the place, and you can go there and, you know, more experience. Sprinting doesn't require stamina. A lot of cool features in this. There's a whole bunch of things like this. You're going to be immune to traps, increased inventory space when you're increasing your loot when you kill bosses, reduced ability times. There's special effects for other things, you know, constant hover. I think I still have this stuck on just defensive abilities. That's why you don't see any offensive ones. You can that's just fine-tuning stuff for later on, but yeah, you can add all this stuff, and it doesn't cost much. What do I got here? 15k. Let's see. Let's put 15% health on there, and then it doesn't even take the money out until I think I take it out here. Yeah, it takes it out. What that costs, like 600 gold to do that thing. So you can do that to all your pieces of gear, but then if you upgrade your gear, you're going to lose those buffs, and then you can get these buffs in the dungeon and keep on going. So if you have hours and hours and hours to play, you can keep going through these dungeons and it'll get harder and harder and harder, but you'll be super powerful and you'll get up to, like, max level in no time. Well, it'll take you a lot of time, and depending on what you want to do and how you want to play. So that is the dungeon mode. It's pretty interesting. Let's go and take a look at the regular game mode right now. So the regular story mode is what we're going to look at, so you can get a feel of what this game is really like if you're actually going to play it for real type thing. We'll just get this loading screen going on here. There you go. So this is what the game looks like in the old fashioned style there. You can pick out your weapon. You got your basic 3 attacks type deal when you're attacking and stuff like that. You got your jumping, your third person mode, and then you got your enemies like this. And the enemies in this game are really easy at the start. What was that? Mushrooms, yeah. So they're really easy at the start. Like, you're not even attacking me basically, right? They're just sitting there flying around. They'll attack and you have room to get behind them, then you can swing and kill them. Like, yeah, well, these are bees and I'm OP on my character right now, so yeah, they are a challenge when I have no damage on my staff and they die in one hit. But yeah, the storyline is basic. It's only a few little quests and you're done. The story is bad acting, very bad voice acting, like horrible, like you could do better yourself, that type of voice acting, an annoying character, and the story is the basic story. So, well, don't get into that too badly. This game is a 7 out of 10 still, even with all that kind of stuff. So this is what the map looks like overall right now in this version, and all these levels, all these zones are level based. So you start off in the level 1 to 10 zone, and you start off over this town right here, and right in this town, right away you get a quest to get a mount. So you get a horse and you can ride around on that, and it's a little bit faster than run around. And there is waypoint travel right here, so you gotta unlock those. You gotta be standing on those to use those, by the way, and then you can travel to the other points right here. Everything is based on your the levels. So it's a recommended zone right there. So, the end zone right here is level 45 to 50. Maximum level is 70. You'll get a lot of experience and all the best gear in there, obviously. That's how these things work. You have your own house in this game, too. So you got your own player house where you can build. You can have some farms, some items. You can't get the best items with your farming, unfortunately. Maybe they'll change that later on, because that would be nice to be able to upgrade your house and your gear and stuff like that for later on. But, and there's just one major city right here, right? You can check out your major city right there. You have an arena in there too, if you notice. There's an arena. You can constantly keep fighting in there and getting experience and gold. It's a really easy way to level up your character if you get there. And since, the enemies are based on your level most of the time. And yeah, let's carry on with the basic quest. You also have faction quests in this game right here. So you have factions. There's 8 factions, and there's a good side and a bad side, basically. So you can tell, like, the bandits and necromancers and the barbarians and seers are all on the bad side. And since I played a mage, I wanted to join the mages guild and do their quests. These quests are pretty small. There's like 5 to 7 quests basically, and then you're done. Then there's an epic quest later on when you're a higher level. You can unlock those, and it's just one quest, and it gives you, like, the second best loot in the game for whatever class that you're playing, or the best apparently for the stuff. Like, I don't know if I got this weapon from there or not, but yeah, it's a pretty good weapon. But, all the best gear has all the sets in the last zone right here. So right here, and then at the end here and doing the quest, you get all the best gear for whatever style that you're playing. And let's take a look at that. So when you come in here, you get 2 skill points per level, and that's all you get when you level up. Besides the standard, your damage goes up for whatever you're doing. All your damage and your hit points and your mana goes up by a set amount based on your stats, basically. And you can see right down here, you can probably barely see, you get permanent stats based on what you're picking. So, like, if for a mage, you pick up, you level up, you get 5 mana per skill point you use. You put a skill point into here, and then you click on an item and you unlock it with the other skill points to actually have spells to be able to use. So you get stuff like, you can cast from the menu too, like this, and cast your basic food right there and get a whole bunch of food for yourself. And what else do you need to know? There's lots of different playstyles you can have. You can have your basic combat, you have stealth mode with your vanishes and 2 daggers, that type of thing. So you can go rogue, you can go archery rogue, you can go playing sword and shield combat mode, and you can even go with the all charisma. All charisma, you get a whole bunch of followers. You can stack the followers up there, and there's even gear that is designed for more followers and buffing your followers up, like you can see right here. And then I can put points in here if I wanted to right now. I'd get like 5 stamina per point by putting it in there. And you get other things. There's just so many other effects. You can go, dark magic and raise dead and skeletons and abominations. You can go to nature magic and be a werewolf in this game. So yeah, you can go there and be a werewolf, or you can use, there's plant powers. And you can mix and match and play however you want. And there's, of course, there's professions. These are pretty small too. There's just 7 skill points, nothing special with them. But you can make like the 3rd best type of gear in the game basically right now, and it will buff everything. I don't have a bench right here to show you. But yeah, like the generic sets basically. They give you a bonus to like everything based on what they are, and they have buffs. So embroidery, which you can buff up your gear, which will look like this. If you can take a look at my gear right here, then you can see in the green right there, and that's embroidery right there, plus the hit points and stamina and mana, and you can do this to all your basic gear for what you can do. And then there's like crit chance and movement speed and attack speed, and that is leather working. And then there's evade chance, and that is blacksmithing type deal. And enchantment is just for your weapons. Unfortunately, they should have added something for your rings, you just don't have, and something for your cloak, or your neck, but they didn't do anything like that yet. Maybe later on they'll add something like that. As you can find, but you can buff up your character nicely and do all the side quests in there. There's just a ton of side quests in this game all over the place. Like I already did some in here. Well, I've pretty much finished everything in this game except for like a little bit there. And then you're still not done. There is still more in this game. I'm at the zone where you do it right now, and this is the Explorers Guild, a separate guild. You don't get really reputation with it, but you have extra things. You have to be level 45 to even start this. But once you start it and you start doing the quest, you can get access to this runic forge right here, which is another cool feature. So any of your abilities that you're using for whatever your character, your attacks are, for like, since I'm a mage, I have an elemental beam, you can find runes that will buff it up and increase the base damage of your skills, like your magic skills, the cooldown on it, and you can get really overpowered because this game has the feature where that is based on your base weapon values for your attacks and your percentages you get from your gear. Like, since I have like 150% elemental damage on my gear right here for the best gear, that adds up to like 1,400%, and that is added on after the base damage right there. So when you first go on there and you stick that up there to 100%, you're doing 100% more damage. So it is pretty nice and surprising that they actually did that. And obviously you can become very overpowered by using that kind of a system. It's pretty neat. And yeah, the other cool features in this game, some of the weapons will have special abilities based on your classes that you can pick. Like for example, my little beam attack here has a 15-second cooldown because it's pretty awesome attack, but it is reduced to 7 seconds with this here staff. But with that rune forge, I reduced it even farther, and I can cast my beam weapon poorly, which like that, and it's just a 2-second cooldown now. So that makes it really awesome for that kind of thing. So you get buffs like that. There is also pets in this game, which don't do anything besides be there. There they are. I have found up to 5 pets so far, and so you get little things like a cat or a rabbit, and they all follow you around, and that's basically all they do. You get a little crab. What else did I miss on here? The little pig. Yeah, little black piggy there, and a stupid little bee. So you got lots of little pets, and you also get musical instruments that give you buffs. And these are all along with random effects from the rune places that you go to that are on the map. So if you go to the map here, you can see them right there, expeditions. So these things will respawn, and everything respawns every 2 hours for all the resources and bosses, or not the bosses, but just all the enemies in the map. Everything respawns every 2 hours, and these zones refresh too. And so you can go to these expeditions, and it's just a simple 3 little missions that are randomly generated, and you get some runes off of them. And of course, if you're gonna play it, just do a save on the last one so you can reload it and get your actual loot that you want, since it's randomly generated. And then you can get your pets, and you can get things like backpacks too off there, and the backpacks will, like this one here, gives you 3 more inventory slots. So this game is really nice on the inventory. It gives you 3 whole slots like this. So you get 3 whole tabs of slots, and then of course that best backpack will give you 3 more. So you're not going to be hurting for inventory. And there's your inventory management, basic system. Yeah, and you can move these boxes around, so that's pretty neat too. Lots of games don't want to let you do that, but they should. So you can move and adjust your stuff around. It's only basic for the spells, like if you're going to attack, because you only have this attack bar in this game. So this is the only attack bar you can use, and so you have to assign your attacks to that, and that's why mages only have 3 attacks, 1 and 2 and 3 basically, 2 for their basic attacks, and everything else is specialized attacks. So I could put this on here too, I believe, if I actually learned it, which I don't want to learn it because it sucks. But yeah, so not all things are going to be good. Some things are going to suck. But yeah, there's a whole bunch of ways to travel in this game. Let's check out the mounts, because there's mounts in there too. And in the mount menu here, you have up to 8 mounts you can find. I haven't found them all. I haven't really tried, because I got the dragon mount right away, and that was that. But these other mounts, like this undead horse, if you cast it, you can use it to get a buff of dark power, so you get 200% to your dark magic buff on it, but just by using mount and using its ability. The dragon doesn't have that, doesn't have a buff because it's a dragon. But yeah, you just cast your mount and summon it, and then you can ride it. And this so far is the only flying mount I know of. But yeah, you got to zoom out a little bit and try and fly up, third-person view type of deal. But yeah, you can fly around the map on your dragon mount, and that's not too hard to get it if you're a wizard and you can cheese the fights and stuff like that. And then, of course, you got to land. Yeah, if you're looking to cheese this game and play this game, I would definitely recommend a mage and going with the ice element right there and taking that, because if you go to the ice element and use that and use your freeze ray on there, but that will basically freeze guys outright, and then they can't really move and get you. And then you can just walk around them and keep hitting them over and over again while they can't really do nothing because they can't move. It's really cheap. And now, of course, this beam weapon, it goes through objects too. It goes through rocks and walls and everything, and it's super long range, so you can outrange everybody. And then if it's going to be difficult, you can hide behind walls where they can't get you, and you can shoot through the walls. It's open to being very cheap. You got magic buffs in this game like that, and of course you get flying spells. So instead of just flying around on your mount there, you can just take off and fly. And I don't even have it. I can go a lot faster if I wanted to. If I wanted to put skill points into it, I don't have any skill points into it. And there's also a trinket I could add that adds flight speed. But as you can see, this is pretty fast, and it's not. It's kind of a laggy game too. So you can fly around here, and here's the monastery. If I wanted to go priest and start the priest quest, the map is a kind of iffy on the quest items still. So one of the negative effects is when you're doing your quest tracking for side quests, it doesn't show you where you have to go on the map. So just make sure you're paying attention to what they're saying and where to go. The main quest will actually show you where to go, but side quests, they might have little circles, but sometimes they won't. It's hit and miss basically on these side quests on where to go. Just pay attention to that. But yeah, this game is pretty interesting overall. Oops, I didn't hit the fly button again. Double cast. But yeah, so you can fly around like this, and we got lots of mana and stuff. Was it 4? I gotta remember that. So yeah, see, it's a little bit choppy, a little bit laggy, but you can get around the map. It's got that little fog of war type thing to try and lower the graphics. But yeah, I don't know why this game is lagging. All the cutscenes also lag pretty badly too, which is kind of weird. But there's other things you can find, like this right here, which will increase your skill points up by 1. You can find that. These things around the map too. There's just a lot of things you can do for exploring and different things. Like, yeah, I don't want to go there. I thought I already got that. Oh well. Maybe that updated. Who knows? Sometimes chests will update. Sometimes they won't. It's all iffy. So that is it. I hope you got a good look at this game. There's lots of things you could do, and I don't think I missed very much in here because they showed you all the skills and what you can do, crafting and cooking. It's all basic, but yeah, you got a whole bunch of different things and styles you can go into, blood magic and all that kind of stuff and fun stuff. So lots of different ways to play around, and of course the main feature at the start of the game you might want to pay attention to, which I didn't get to right away, is the stat feature. These stats do not change at all when you start the game. You get basic stats you can pick from. You can go into negatives. You don't have to have 1. You can have 0, and you can build up there. So you can end up having 3 and 3 for strength and agility, and having 2 for intellect, and have a nice overpowered melee guy, and still cast magic. So on the start of the game there, well, I guess we could go into there. Like, that's not going to kill me, is it? No. it's not going to kill me. We can take a look at the start of the game right there. So I'll show you. So when you start a new game or a bonus dungeon mode right there, doesn't matter. You start a new character. This is the start of your screen. You got 4 points, and as I said, you can go into the negatives if you want. And then the last point for point number 4 in the stats will cost you 2 points to do it. So yeah, if you wanted to make a cool character out, oops, wrong way. I would recommend just doing this. And you can see right here, you can use magic or not, right? And then unlocks. And the other things you can unlock is double jump for 4 agility and for 4 strength, a power jump. But all the gear requirements for strength gear and stuff like that is just 3 strength, so don't worry about going into 4, and don't worry about power jumps when you can fly. So this is what the stats do in this game, and these things don't change, or you can't change them at all, but you can change your talent points at any point in this game. So I hope you got a good look at Gedonia, and hopefully you get it and enjoy it. It is pretty good. It's definitely worthwhile picking up. 7 out of 10 overall, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.